Good evening. We have questions that is from impact test on metals. So now, which tests are performed under impact? So under impact, we have two tests we can perform. One is Izod and second is Charpy test. What is the purpose of Izod and Charpy test? So it is carried out for the toughness or to know the toughness of the material. What is measured in the impact test? So we are going to measure the energy absorbed by the specimen under impact test. Why notch is provided in the impact test? So if notch is not provided, then material may deform only. It will not fail. And if it will not fail, then we are not going to get exact or energy observed by the specimen, because in that case the motion of the pendulum will not be proper. Is the instrument same for Izod and Charpy? Yes, we have same instrument for Izod and Charpy. Which is the popular test, Izod or Charpy? So Charpy test is the popular because specimen can be easily prepared in case of Charpy. What is the position of test specimen in Izod test? In Izod test, we have specimen is in cantilever position. Bottom end of the specimen is fixed. You can see this. We are going to fix it at bottom, and your hammer will be struck on the top of the specimen. Then what is the position of test specimen in Charpy? So you can see this. It is simply supported in case of Charpy. So these are the positions. So this is fixed and this is simple support on these two specimen. So we are in this fashion. Which knot is provided to the specimen? Hmm, uh, which notch is provided? So we have which notch is provided in the test. So in Charpy test, V or U notch is provided, and in case of Izod, we are going to provide that is V notch only. So for Izod, we have to go for V notch, and for Charpy, we can have V or U notch. What is the position of notch in Izod test? In Izod test, notch is facing the pendulum. What is the position of notch in Charpy test? So in Charpy test, notch is facing away from the pendulum. So you can see in the last diagram. So you can see this hammer. We have notch towards the hammer, and here our hammer notch is in the opposite direction of the hammer or on the opposite face of the specimen. What are the dimensions of the specimen in Charpy test? So we have 10 by 10 by 50 These are the dimension in Charpy test. Dimension in Izod test we have 10 by 10 by 75. Izod we have 75 and Charpy we have 55. Where the hammer hits specimen in Charpy. So already I mentioned it that in Charpy hammer hits in the middle of the specimen and your notch is on the opposite side. Where the hammer hits in Izod, so in Izod it hits on the upper tip of the specimen. What is the angle made by the hammer in the Charpy test? So that angle made by the hammer in Charpy test we have that is 140 degrees. So we have actually instrument in this fashion, and we have hammer in case of Izod, which will be 90 degrees, and in case of Charpy test, we are going to be this angle with vertical is 140 degrees. So angle in Izod that is 90 degrees. What is the maximum impact energy in Charpy test? That is 300 joule, and in impact we have that is 170 joule. So we have that is least count for this is 2 joule. So least count means the value of the uh, scale between the two lines, that we are going to get it as 2 joules. Least counts means the value between the two lines. So you can see actually for Izod test, so I can summarize it. For Izod test, we are going to use 1598-1977 IS code, and you can see the specimen for Izod test. So the thickness of this notch in Izod test, we have 2 millimeter. Angle of the Izod, we have 45 degrees. Then we have, this will be 75 mm. Notch is provided at 20 mm on from cantilever portion. So we have fixed on this side. So we are on this side fixed, and then a hammer will strike, that is at 22 millimeter from the notch, or we can say 6 millimeter from top. And the size you can see 10 by 10 by 75 mm, which we have for Izod test. So this is the diagram for of specimen for Izod test. Then if we will go for Charpy, we are going to use, that is for U notch, IS 1499 1977. And then you can see this specimen. So we have, that is length, we have 55 millimeters, width we have 10. So this will be 2 and 3, you can say 10 10. Then root of radius of notch, we have 1. So this root of radius is 1 millimeter. Then we have depth of notch, that is 8 millimeter, which is fifth one. So we have this depth, that is 8 millimeter in case of uh, Charpy test. Then distance of center of the notch from ends of specimen, that is exactly at center. Then we have angle between plane of symmetry of notch and longitudinal axis is 90 degrees. Now you can see we have, this will be simple support on both sides. Then we can have distance between supports. So this distance we have 40 millimeters. Then radius of curvature already we have seen. Tapers angle of tip of hammer we have 30 degrees. Radius of curvature we have of the tip of the hammer, and that we have 2 plus minus 0.5 millimeter. So these are the questions which are related with your Izod and Charpy test. So we will stop here only. Thank you.